So, James Gunn's Superman is finally out, and man, I've been looking forward to this one for quite a minute. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again, Superman is one of, if not the most misunderstood characters in comic book films. And yeah, to be completely honest, I have to address it, I just despise Man of Steel.
That is one big pile of shit.
I hated Batman v Superman, and I hated basically everything to come out of the DCEU. They all go in the dookie bad dog shit no likey tier. That's right, I was an OG Zach Snyder hater. The culture has just caught up to me now, it seems. But yeah, in all seriousness, I didn't even like the Snyder Cut, which I'll admit is better than Justice League, but still didn't do it for me. Also, being a better film than the Justice League is not a high bar. It's bloated as hell, and it still manages in 4 hours to completely misunderstand the characters it's about and be just insufferable. But I won't go on a full Snyder rant here, or this video would be 45 minutes long. What does matter is this: Superman 2025 feels different. This isn't just another comic book flick. It has a really unique energy, the kind that says, hey, let's actually do this right. And honestly, I would say it's foolish to not think that that was James Gunn's mission from the jump. This film had the very difficult task of resetting the DC universe after the CGI mustache shit show of the old DCEU.
Oh! Ew! Dude! What the fuck?
And I think it actually managed to pull it off really well. It's clear James Gunn actually cares about these characters. I know that he reads comics just for the love of the game, not for homework for $1 million movie. I mean, come on, this is the guy who made the Guardians of the Galaxy household names. He made The Suicide Squad, a follow-up to one of the worst fucking movies I've ever had the displeasure of watching. The man just doesn't miss. On the other hand, all Zack Snyder does is miss. He projected his fucking frat boy wannabe fantasies onto these characters and didn't portray them how they actually were meant to be portrayed. That's how you end up with Batman pulling out a gun and mowing people down. That's also how you get quotes like this.
Everyone says that about Batman Begins. Batman's dark. I'm like, okay, no, Batman's cool. He gets to go to a Tibetan monastery and be trained by ninjas, okay? I want to do that. But he doesn't, like, get in prison.
However, I think I would be amiss to not mention the bad things about this film. I would still say it's the best Superman movie by a long shot, but I don't think it's perfect. And by no means do I think it ever could be. It has to basically throw the viewer headfirst into this new universe, and does so with a title crawl at the beginning that I think left just a little to be desired. I think the movie telling us about Superman losing his first battle is a little bit odd. I feel like that would have been a pretty good cold open, and it would have been nice to see, but it also just isn't talked about for the rest of the film. It's never brought up as some important thing for Clark to overcome. He doesn't talk about it at all, and I really think that that was a missed opportunity, especially if your whole message of the film is Superman's humanity. The thing is, though, it kind of has to be glossed over by the breakneck fucking speed that the first 30 minutes or so go at to introduce us to all the shit that Clark Kent has going on. Some of which was even established before the movie started. So, I will say, while I wasn't disengaged with the first part, it felt really hard to care about anything or anyone shown simply because of the sheer volume of what we are shown. I read somewhere that James Gunn originally wanted to use title cards throughout the movie to help pace the timeline because apparently this film takes place over several days in Clark's life. And if you go in knowing that, it's kind of clear where the title cards are supposed to be. I think it would have helped a lot, because once the movie does slow down and find its rhythm, it does get a lot better. One thing I love about this movie is that it feels like a living, breathing comic book. It's just unapologetically weird in the best way. We have Superman fighting a kaiju, Lex Luthor running a pocket dimension Alcatraz, and if you're a fan of the source material, this is, not very weird to you, but to the casual viewer, it will feel a lot wackier than your standard superhero flick. It feels like the closest thing we could have gotten to the tone of All-Star Superman, which originally was the pitch for this movie, and that's what got me really excited. This universe feels very lived in. There are scenes where Metropolis is being attacked and there are still some people going about their day like it's normal. And that makes me really excited to see what this new DC universe has. It's the first time in a very long time that I have come out of a DC movie hopeful and excited for the next entry. It feels like it's laying groundwork, and I think that is the main thing that this movie does perfectly. This movie really does go hard. It knows what it is, and I think that's the best thing about it. This movie is not ashamed to be a superhero movie, and that energy is very infectious. When it comes to the specifics, I really liked Guy Gardner. He was hilarious. He's exactly how I would imagine him to be in an on-screen portrayal. Hot Girl doesn't really do much, but she's cool enough, I guess. But Mr. Terrific is pretty much the star of the show here when it comes to those three. He's shockingly awesome. He has easily one of the best fight scenes in the movie, if not the best fight scene in the movie, and when you see it, you'll know. This movie also does one of the most important things about Superman right: Lois Lane. Now, Amy Adams really is a phenomenal actress, but her Lois was just really, really bad. Which, to be fair, really isn't her fault. She's just flat and boring and forgettable, and it really feels like that's the only thing Superman cares about in the film. But here, Lois actually really has personality, agency, and chemistry with Clark, and it feels natural. I love that they're kind of at a weird point in their relationship. It adds a lot of cool dynamics into their conversation and interactions throughout the movie. Also, I just want to say that Amy Adams' Lois Lane had some questionable dialogue.
I can't print this, Lois. You might have hallucinated half of it.
What about the civilian contractors who corroborated my story?
The Pentagon is denying that there was a ship.
Of course they are. That's what they're supposed to do. It's the Pentagon. Perry, come on, it's me we're talking about. I'm a Pulitzer Prize-winning reporter.
Then act like it.
This is the most obnoxious thing I've ever experienced in my life.
And speaking of Clark, David Corenswet is Superman, full stop. This is the best live-action Superman we've ever had. Point blank, period. He plays both Clark Kent and Superman with real nuance, with little subtle differences in his performance to tell the difference between the two. He's funny, he's kind, he's confident, and vulnerable. And most importantly, he values life. This man saves everyone. He saves a squirrel, for God's sake. That is the Superman I grew up loving, and the Superman that Zach Snyder's bitch ass hates, apparently. And the fact that the line in the climax is simply just, "I am human," that is it. That is the heart of Superman. He's not pretending to be Clark Kent, he is Clark Kent. Superman is what he can do, Clark is who he is. Lex Luthor was also a standout. Nicholas Hoult oozes that insincere, obsessive hater energy, and it's beautiful. And then there's Clark's parents. Finally, someone treats them with respect. There is a scene between Clark and Pa Kent that nearly broke me. Actual emotion, no weird nihilist dad monologues like in Man of Steel, or saying shit like this.
Right, we talked about this. Oh, Clark, you have to keep this side of yourself a secret.
What was I supposed to do? Just let him die?
Maybe.
What? No!
Man, Zack Snyder was just full of bangers, wasn't he?
I tried to do it in that sort of technical way. I tried to do it like by proxy. He'd shoot the car that they're in, the car would blow up, or the grenade would go off in the guy's hand, or whatever. Or he'd shoot the tank of the thing, and the guy pretty much lights his own tank with the thing. So I perceive it as not him killing directly, but by sort of, if the bad guys are associated with the thing that happens to blow up, that's not really. He would say that that's not really my problem.
Hey, Zach, that's still murder. Look, I won't pretend that I came into this unbiased. I have been begging for a Superman who isn't a detached demigod or a cardboard Boy Scout. I wanted hope, and I wanted humanity. And outside of some really rough early pacing issues, I think this film does deliver. Gunn's camera work is still top tier. The flying sequences, the Superman symbol, hero shots, the oneers, it's all so dynamic. He's really always been that guy, and his style is not lost here. So yeah, with that, I am going to give James Gunn's Superman an 8 out of 10. I'm excited, I'm hopeful, and for the first time in years, DC has my attention. But yeah, go watch it, form your own opinion. Bye.